Today's discussion is about how to overcome performance anxiety using yoga. Many a times in our lives, we feel that whenever there is a very important performance, we get that anxiety. If you have to speak on a stage, your legs start shivering, your voice shivers, or you start getting that headache or a whirling kind of a sensation, your throat becomes dry, those kind of sensations where the autonomic arousal, your own heartbeat, your own breathing distracts you, and that affects the performance. In fact, there are many people, when nobody is watching, they do it very well. But as soon as somebody watches them, especially when people who are very important to them watch, it is during that time that they get fumbled in their performance. So the question is how to overcome this performance anxiety using yoga. What is your experience in your life? How have you tackled this problem? I would like to hear from you.
Sir, I'm Dr. Gandhi speaking.
Yes, Gandhi sir.
So the anxiety is created in our own mind because of our inferiority. So we think that we are not better than the audience or better than the others. So to overcome that inferiority, we have to feel that the others are not knowing as much as I am knowing, and I am more powerful and more knowledgeable person. I know many things like that. With that mind, you have to overcome the anxiety, and the troubleness will not come. And your that ego or that inferiority complex, we should not be there when you are performing any action or talk or in your life when you're facing the people.
Thank you, Gandhi sir. So Gandhi sir has brought up an important point, saying that you have to empower yourself by your thoughts. Definitely this kind of empowerment only can happen when person has really adequately prepared oneself and is really knowledgeable. Then only such kind of thoughts work. If you have not prepared the topic well, still you tell yourself that I am more knowledgeable, it won't work. But yes, definitely when the performance is adequate and you try to connect yourself, or the approach that Gandhi sir is telling is that you feel that people in front of you are lower than you. That will improve your confidence. Okay, anybody else, any other view?
Yeah, being in the present moment will stop performance anxiety, and being in that moment, not in the past, not in the future, you will be able to overcome performance anxiety.
Thank you, Srinathji, for sharing your views. What do you think may be the mechanism of this kind of approach? How it would work?
Question to me?
Yes, means in the present moment, how it reduces anxiety?
Basically, your focus. Let's say you're giving a speech, and so if you concentrate on the present moment, and the present moment is delivering a speech, so the past doesn't come, the future doesn't come. So you are grounded to the present, to the speech, and anxiety dissolves on its own. And another point of view is basically another point of view would be, so what if I go wrong in my presentation? So what?
Yes. So Srinathji has brought up two other important issues, saying that one is that you remain in the present. The anxiety is anticipation that is in future. You remain in the present, focus on the present. And the other approach is what worst can happen. Even if I completely go wrong, what is the worst that can happen? And I accept that result from the beginning. So this is the approach Srinathji is telling. Here, when you focus in the present moment, it is little tricky, because sometimes in the present moment, what I have is people in front of me. What I have is my legs are shivering. I start seeing my own bodily symptoms and people around me, and I may completely go blank in my mind. So that way your focus has to be properly channelized. Yes. Anybody else? Any other views?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, madam.
So I want to know about the question relating with your question is that are these practices, current practices, are sufficient to overcome the anxiety?
Good question, Rashmi ji. Good question. So to answer that, it is very important to understand how yoga works. So that is the answer that we are all discussing. Once you understand how yoga can do that, then you will yourself know the answer, whether these practices will help or not. So definitely, please wait. Anybody else who would like to share any other views?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Bhaskar ji.
Hello.
Yes, Bhaskar ji, please share your views.
Meditation overcome that anxiety, sir.
You have observed that in your life, that meditation helps you overcome anxiety?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what do you do exactly in the meditation?
Concentrate on that subject.
Concentrate on the subject. Okay.
Yes,
so
sir.
you are telling that you being more focused helped you, Bhaskar ji.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes. Anybody else? Shobhana ji?
Hemant.
Good morning, sir.
Yes. After that, Raghunath ji. Yeah.
As the previous speaker spoke, we have to be prepared for whatever we are going to do on the stage.
Yeah.
And main thing is move inward and focus on ourselves. Look at our strengths. And this comes through yoga, empowering and moving inward. That comes through yoga. So I feel.
Okay. So Shobhana ji says that you should be able to shut off your senses, go inwards, focus on your strength. So this is a very beautiful answer. Raghunath ji?
Sir, I was out of the connection. If others have not, I feel that Nada Anusandhana is the one that gives me a lot of relief whenever there is a tension, and when I control myself, and to a great extent I overcome that particular tension, and I'll come back to my normal, almost normal position by repeating this Nada Sandhana for many attempts.
So Raghunath ji in his practical life has observed Nad Anusandhana, chanting A, U and Ma, to be very helpful in reducing his tension. So you chant A, U, Ma together or A, U, Ma separately, Raghunath ji, in such moments?
I separately, sir, not together, separately.
So first you chant A, then U, then Ma, then A, U, Ma
Yes, sir.
together, like how we do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So chanting has helped. Raghunath ji says that chanting has helped him.
To a great extent, it has helped me.
Fine. Sanjeev ji, you would like to say something?
नमस्कार.
Namaste, Sanjeev ji.
हमारी बेचैनी जो है वो हमारे भीतर के किसी हार के लिए प्रवृत्ति की वजह से होती है कि हम हार रहे हैं, हम कमजोर हैं या हम ठीक से परफॉर्म नहीं कर पाएंगे. ऐसा इसके लिए सबसे अच्छा समाधान है जो हमें योग सीधे सीधे सिखाता है, समभाव. हमें ये जानना जरूरी है कि जो हमारे सामने बैठे हैं वो भी हमारे जैसे ही इंसान हैं, वो गलतियां भी करते हैं और बुद्धिमानी यदि उनमें है तो उनमें भी अज्ञान भी है जैसा हम में है. इस समभाव से हम अपने परफॉर्मेंस को पहली बात सही कर पाएंगे मानसिक रूप से. और अंदर की बेचैनी जो है वो असल में हम पे साइकोसोमेटिक असर डालती है. शरीर और मन का जो संबंध है तो बाहरी हम पे प्रभाव पड़ता है. बाहरी प्रभाव को हम प्राणायाम के जरिए बहुत आसानी से रोक सकते हैं, और जैसे ही बाहरी शरीर हमारा शांत होगा फिर मन भी शांत होगा। उसके लिए हम भस्त्रिका का तेज इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं, मतलब इंटेंसिटी ज्यादा नहीं होनी चाहिए, स्पीड केवल थोड़ी बढ़ा करके आप ऐसा करके थोड़ी सी सांस ले लें, थोड़ी देर ले लें, फिर आपका मन शांत हो जाएगा। आप ओम का उच्चारण कर सकते हैं और अपने परफॉर्मेंस को निश्चित रूप से प्रैक्टिस करके बार बार पीछे में, जब आप स्टेज पे नहीं होते, जब आप लोगों के सामने नहीं होते, तो आप सुधार सकते हैं। और जब परफॉर्म कर रहे हैं तब आप ऐसा भी सोच सकते हैं कि मेरे सामने कोई नहीं बैठा है, मैं अपने आप को परफॉर्म कर रहा हूँ। इन दैट वे एंजाइटी से आप बाहर निकल सकते हैं, ऐसा मेरा ख्याल है।
थैंक यू संजीव जी, आपने बहुत ही सुंदरता से, बहुत ही क्लैरिटी के साथ में इसका जवाब दिया। सो व्हाट संजीव जी said is that the samsthiti of yoga, that is very, very important. What you have to feel is that the people who are sitting in front of me are like me only. They also have their successes, their failures, their knowledge, their ignorance, and I also have my own knowledge and my ignorance. So in that way, one becomes at the same level as the crowd in front, the person watching. And then the second thing he says is that the autonomic arousal of the body can be reduced by doing pranayama. And he says that immediately before the performance, one can do superficial bhastrika followed by Om chanting. That will stabilize the person in the body, and then the performance can be delivered. Very beautiful answer, Sanjeev ji. Anju ji, would you like to share your views?
Ji, sir. What I
Yes.
wanted to say was that normally when one is going to give a talk, one is in public, so you can't do many of the things which have been enunciated.
Yeah.
So if you can just sit quietly for a minute or two, deep breathing exercise, and do it alone. Sometimes it can be done very unobtrusively, even in public, and that helps. It focuses on the breath so that you're not thinking of the audience or the talk or anything, and then it becomes much easier.
So Anju ji has brought a very beautiful and practical point. You cannot do, when you are in public, you cannot go and do Bhastrika or such thing. But yeah, she says Anulom Vilom or deep breathing practices where you prolong your exhalation. The more you prolong your exhalation, the more your nervous system shifts towards relaxation. So ideally, scientifically, we recommend that your exhalation should be double than your inhalation, like that, and shift your breathing from your chest to your abdomen. So like small children, they breathe through their abdomen. So you breathe in, bulge your abdomen out, and as you breathe out, let your abdomen sink in, and maintain this count of breathe in for 4, breathe out for 8 count. This way, slowly, your parasympathetic nervous system can be strengthened. And for Nadi Shuddhi, we do Nadi Shuddhi using the fingers, but advanced yogis, they can just mentally do Nadi Shuddhi. They close their eyes, focus on the left nostril, breathe in, and their mind is so sharpened that their Nadi Shuddhi goes on even without using the hands, just by the concentration of the mind. So I'm so happy, very beautiful, wonderful, practical suggestions. Okay, so now let us look to what ancient texts have to say. Now I will go into the depth of the issue of performance anxiety. So it is not like that people, who are not adequately prepared only become anxious, or those who are weak only become anxious. Even very strong people who have prepared very well also can become anxious. This is quite evident in Bhagavad Gita, in the first chapter itself, when Arjuna Uvacha, Arjunam says, Drishtamevam Swajanam Krishnam Yuyutsum Samupastitam. Looking at the people, who have gathered in front of me, see his symptoms. Sidanti mama gatrani. Mukham cha parishusyate. My limbs are giving away, my mouth is drying up. And what is happening? Vepatuschu sharire me roma harshascha jayate. My whole body is shivering and I am getting horripilations. My hairs are standing on end. Gandiv sansrate haste twaktacha paridahyate. So my gandiva is falling out of my hand. My hands are shivering and my skin is burning. And what is happening? Bhramati vache cha me manaha. My mind is in quandary and whirling in confusion. So does it not appear like he's having a performance anxiety, panic kind of a reaction here? So Arjuna was the greatest warrior of that time, very mighty armed Kshatriya. Throughout his life, he did not do anything else than using his Gandiva and performing. But such a person of great caliber, great strength and great practice also became anxious. So therefore, the first thing that we have to understand is that the anxiety is not a sign of weakness. It can happen to anybody. You becoming anxious does not mean that you have not prepared adequately, or does not mean that you lack in strength in any way. This is the number one lesson. Second, this is the most beautiful shloka of Bhagavad Gita, according to me, for the current life. So in the second chapter, 47 shloka, Krishna says, Karmanev adhikaraste. You have been given the freedom to do the actions. Ma phaleshu kadachana. But you have not been given any control over the fruits of your actions. That processing is done by some other agency. You have no control over deciding. So what you can do is in your hand. After you have done it, how it will be processed and what result will come to you is not in your hand. Okay, this is the first aspect of the shloka. So see below what Krishna is telling. Freedom you have is towards action. No control is towards result. But what we try to do in our life, we try to gain control over the result, and we behave as if the actions are automatic, that we have no control or freedom in our actions. Some people have this kind of misconceptions, mere bhagya mein likha hai, whatever is written on my forehead, that only I will do. Human beings have no choice. One does what has to be done, and therefore one has to go through. But this is a wrong understanding. Correct understanding is that in the next moment, the infinite freedom that a human being has is doing in action. No one, not even Brahma, can know what a man on this earth will do in the next moment. It is this freedom that we have in doing the action. But many of us are not even aware that we are free to do the action. Gautam Buddha said, Kartum akartum anyatha kartum shaktaha. In any given situation, I may do it as everybody does. I may do it entirely differently, or I may not do it at all. The freedom has been given to the human beings only. No other creature has that freedom. If you throw a bone, dog has to jump. But a human being, even if hungry, can say, no, today is Ekadashi, I am fasting. This freedom, a mighty elephant stands on a small ball because it fears the whip of the ringmaster. It cannot say, I will not come to the circus from tomorrow, I resign. But a human being in the next moment can give a resignation letter and be free. So it is our assumption that we do not have freedom on the actions. And it is our assumption that we have control over the results. But the fact is that we have freedom to do the actions and we have no control over the results. So the focus is very, very important. The focus is right now on the result. The focus has to shift on the action. मैं सिर्फ इतना करूंगा कि मेरा जो परफॉर्मेंस है मैं उसको पूरे दिल से दूं. What I will do is I will just do my performance with my heart. After that, it doesn't matter to me. what others say, what they don't say, whatever they feel. Complete focus should be on the quality of the performance. The joy of doing the performance should come. So before you initiate the action, what you have to do is you have to channelize your thoughts. You have to channelize your thoughts towards the freedom that you have in doing the action, and the whole focus should be on how do I improve the quality of my performance. The quality of the performance is not to be improved because you want a particular result. Quality of the performance is to be improved because that will give you more joy. It is just for the sake of the joy of doing the action that you do the action. कर्म को सिर्फ इसलिए कीजिए क्योंकि कर्म करने का मजा है, बस उस आनंद को लेने के लिए. So your whole focus becomes on the quality of the action. That is number one in the beginning of the performance. Then when the performance is about to begin, you can do all those slow breathing practices. You can center yourself. You can get in touch with the inner source of joy within you. Karmani akarma yaha paschet. Akarmani cha karma yaha. One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is the wise among the humans. So once you use the freedom to initiate an action, just before the action, what you have to do is drop the sense of doership and become an instrument. So please understand, you do not become an instrument before initiating the action. The initiation of the action, कर्म शुरू करने से पहले आपको अपने तन, मन, बुद्धि, ज्ञान, intellect सब कुछ use करना है. You have to use everything, every bit of energy in you. The body, the feeling, the intellect, the soul, the prayer, everything you use when you initiate an action. When you have to take a decision, you use everything. But once you are into the flow, once you are on the stage, it is in that moment, that after centering yourself, you have to tell yourself that the action is going to flow through you. So you have to take yourself aside. So just before the performance, what I do is I say, I want nothing. I do nothing. I am nothing. And I just become centerless. See, when you are centerless, the people around you, the people in front of you, the people all the way around, also become centerless. Everything becomes one. So केंद्र को छोड़ देना चाहिए. जब हम प्रिपेयर करते हैं तो हमको क्वालिटी ऑफ एक्शन पे ध्यान देना चाहिए, आनंद लेना चाहिए उस एक्शन का. And just before the performance, we should use our breath to first center ourselves, and then with exhalation, with prolonged exhalation, I want. First, you can do deep abdominal breathing. You can do some Brahmari chanting, center yourself. And then as you exhale, as we do in our Yoga Nidra practice, let go of all the desires. Let go of all the efforts. And then drop the center. I am. And then whatever happens, let it happen. It will be a thing where the drashta in you will always be there. And even if you fail, even if you win, doesn't matter after that. So this is what is our understanding according to Bhagavad Gita, how to overcome performance anxiety.
How to handle.
So Prachi ji has asked a question. I feel that I am doing up to my best, but my colleague or my superiors feel that I am not up to the mark. in such a situation, what should I do? You know, so if you feel that you have done everything you could, then with lot of humbleness, you know, you can, with all humbleness, you can approach the person, you know, take their criticism positively. Okay, so what do you think, you know, that I can improve on? Where do you think, if you feel that my performance is not up to the mark or that was needed, then what are the areas where you think that I should improve, that I should practice more? So there is always, you know, abhyasa is always required, but the beauty of yoga is that it talks of vairagya also. तो हमें अभ्यास से तो मुंह नहीं मोड़ना है, अभ्यास छोड़ के सिर्फ वैराग्य करेंगे तो भी इम्बैलेंस हो जाएगा, वैराग्य को छोड़ के सिर्फ अभ्यास ही करते रहेंगे तो परफॉर्मेंस एंजाइटी हो जाएगा. So it requires two wings to fly. On one side abhyasa, on other side vairagya. Bhagavad Gita also says the same and Patanjali also says the same. So आपको मुझे अभ्यास में क्या कमी है ये पूछना चाहिए प्राची जी, और एक तरफ अभ्यास करते रहिए रिजल्ट की तरफ देखे बिना, और दूसरे तरफ उस अभ्यास का भी अहंकार मत बनने दीजिए, बार बार अपने आप को इंस्ट्रूमेंट बना दीजिए. इस तरीके से one should very, you know, skillfully manage the actions and one's own mind.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Very beautifully you explained. Thank you.
Doctor, can I just...
Yes. So here, you know, Annie G has asked a question that her tendency is to always focus on the result. Even if she's doing the action, her mind always goes towards the results, you know, and that interrupts in her action. And she's asking, though I intellectually understand what you are saying, practically implementing it is becoming difficult for me. What should I do? You know, so in this situation, you know, Annie, what has happened is in you the rajas is more, you know, there is lot of rajoguna in your lifestyle. There is lot of activating things that are happening in your mind. Your mind has got a lot of accelerators, but the brakes are loose. So therefore, now you have to work on the whole of your lifestyle. The diet is such that it is not stimulating to the mind. You may want to, you know, avoid stimulants to your brain. Stimulants like coffee, tea, alcohol, smoking, or any other kind of substances, or the diet that is very, very spicy, very, very, you know, a lot of masala in it. Those kind of things stimulate the mind. When the mind is stimulated, the speed increases, but the control is lost. So one is the diet aspect, where you may want to consume the diet which has more sattva guna in it. So the diet like taking more cow's ghee, fresh milk, fresh, juicy, ripened fruit items, you know, these kind of salads, you know, fresh salads. You may want to increase consumption of these kind of food items in your diet as number one. Second is that you may want to, you know, incorporate certain practices of yoga that reduce the rajoguna. So as I said, practices of Kapalabhati, practices of Bhastrika, practices of Nad Anusandhana. You may want to do it before initiating the action for a little longer time. You know, you may do Uma chant for 21 rounds, you know, before initiating the action. You may also want to do good amount of Bhastrika followed by Nadi Shuddhi and then Uma chant, 5 minutes each. And then you will see that suddenly your mind is on to the action. Once it comes onto the action, just merge yourself with the action, because you have the freedom to do the action. You know, use all the freedom, use all the creativity in doing that action. See, your same anxiety that is making you anxious about the performance, the same anxiety has hidden creativity in it if it is able to focus on the action. So the same energy not being able to channelize on the freedom of doing the action becomes anxiety. The same energy getting channelized with the openness of the mind that I have to do this action. I know I do this action every time, but am I using all my freedom to do this action in all possible ways differently? आप जो action हर दिन करते हैं, सुबह आप ऑफिस जाते हैं, शाम को आते हैं, आप हाउसवाइफ है, खाना बनाते हैं, whatever you do every day, have you become an automated machine, or are you using the freedom of the action that Krishna has given you in doing it differently today? Just that creativity in your action will reduce your anxiety. When we become mechanical, then our mind goes into the future, into the results. But when our energy is getting invested in the creativity in the present moment, then the action itself becomes a source of joy, and therefore there is no doorway to enter towards the results, because person seeks results only because one sees a joy in the result. But when that joy is seeping through my action itself, why will I go towards the results? So just focus on these energy.
Thank you so much, Doctor. It's very helpful.
Thank you. Namaste to all of you. Please take care. Dhanyavad.